Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. On this program, we discuss issues around politics, policy, and governance. I'm Hamza Idris. Thank you for joining us. Hours after the declaration of a curfew in Mangu local government by the Plateau state government, there has been a wave of attacks on defenseless citizens and burning of houses, schools, and places of worship by a suspected militia. Many people were said to have been killed, according to locals, who have been also displaced by the renewed killings, despite the existence of restrictions of movement aimed at mitigating and anticipated large-scale killings following actionable security intelligence at the disposal of the government. The Itato Home of Peace and Tourism has been witnessing wanton killings by government terrorizing the people, despite measures to halt the carnage by security operatives under the Operation Safe Haven and other non-kinetic measures, including peace-building initiatives. It is against this backdrop we'll be engaging some stakeholders on the latest situation on Plateau and efforts to stop the wanton destruction of lives and property. We have joined us via Zoom Honorable Sani Moody. He is the spokesperson of the Jamaatul Nasir Islam in Jos and a former deputy chairman of Jos North local government area. We also have Shabul Mazadu. He is the CEO of the Beacon newspaper. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. Yes. Yeah. Let me start with you. Mazadu, what is happening in Mangu as we speak now?
Good afternoon, viewers. Currently, the situation is, from the news we are getting, it's like burnings and burning of structures and pockets of attacks here and there ongoing at the moment. And from the complaints other people are giving, they are saying that the security operatives on ground are standing aloof, just watching. And when they talk to them, they said that they have not been giving order to stop the carnage. And one cannot just ascertain because I wasn't there, but these are the information that kept coming to us at the moment. Even before coming on this program, I just finished talking to someone and he told me that up till now, but the little reinforcement that has been brought, they are working hard to see to it that they bring everything under control.
All right, thank you, Mazadu. And yes, Honorable Sani Moody, from your end, what did you heard? Yeah, what did you heard so far happening in Mangu and environs?
Hello and good evening.
Good evening, yes.
From the situation, from the reports we have been getting since morning or since yesterday when this unfortunate incident started, it's a communal clash in Mangu, unlike the usual farmer-herder conflict that we used to witness in the rural areas. This time around is a conflict right within the township, and then of course a communal conflict, very unfortunate. And at the beginning, it seemed it was quite overwhelming for the security on ground. But the military have done commendably well from what we learned by this afternoon, because overnight there were still attacks and burning of some primary schools belonging to certain groups, other places of worship. But by afternoon today, the military had taken over control of the situation, and of course we have received report of massive deployment of security all around. Yes, as rightly said by Bazadu, there was aloofness on the part of some elements within the security establishments, especially those that were earlier deployed, and it's made up mostly of the local, security outfit, especially the Operation Rambo. From what we got, there were a series of complaints about them, about their attitude and their response in the crisis. But with the military now dominating the scene, we hope the situation will be firmly put under control, and of course, we hope that overnight there won't be a repeat of what happened yesterday. Last night was too bad, and we are hoping that the fears being expressed, on possible attacks during the night will not manifest.
All right, thank you. Yes, Mazadu, you said something significant which actually raised a lot of concerns, that the security operatives on ground were actually helpless of sort because they didn't receive any order from above. Is there a nexus between what happened overnight despite curfew and then the aloofness of the security operatives?
No, it's not good.
Yes, hello Mazadu, are you with us? Yes, it's like we have some technical problem on the other side. Yes, Mazadu, are you with us?
Yeah.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you take the question again? I couldn't get it.
Yes, I said
I can hear you now.
Yes, I said you raised a very significant point that the security operators, especially overnight, yesterday, they were waiting for orders from above. And it was during these hours that a lot of people, were killed, houses, places of worship destroyed. Is there a nexus between what happened and then the aloofness of sort of security operatives?
Well, the crisis, the way it started as a kind of the report we got that somebody was killed, and the suspects were headers, and there was this kind of reprisal, and before we realized it reached Mangu and then culminated into a kind of ethno-religious, or let me put it, religious crisis. And one cannot actually say whether actually there is an agenda, with the security that earlier went there to ensure the store peace and order. It's something that one cannot say. But the unfortunate thing is that the primary aim of the government is to protect lives and properties, and that should be taken very, very seriously. And anybody that is in the security, maybe the military, and they have gone for peacekeeping, they should take it seriously. There shouldn't be compromise, because there's something about this issue of crisis, particularly when it has to do with ethnicity and religiosity. If care is not taken and if it is not doused on time, after even the crisis, the hurt will still be there, the effects will still be there, and you find out that the animosity and the grievances and many things will still be there. And that will not bring a total end to the crisis, because after a while it may resurface again. And that is why the security operatives are supposed to have warning signs even before. When tension is mounting, they should be able to take precaution and stem any form of probability in, the crisis erupting. So they need a warning sign, and they should act swiftly before it even, ignites. Because leaving it to ignite and then allowing destruction and many things to take place is just like what Awolowo said. He said violence never solves any problem. That even after the violence, the pain of it and the tendency of even revenging and whatever will still be there. So what we expected the security men to do was, from the early time that they started emanating that there was a problem, that was the period they would have acted very, very fast. And coupled with the fact that Plateau State is prone to insecurity, particularly with what happened at the eve of 2023 Christmas. The dust has not finally settled, and the pains and the hurts and have not settled. So any little thing can ignite, upheavals. So the security men on ground are supposed to be very, very alert and vigilant, so that in case of any tension or any news or anything that could trigger any crisis, they should nip it in the bud. And that will go a long way in bringing healing, and making the people to live peacefully and cordially. But allowing it to reach to this extent that even up till today, it has not completely been doused, and even the curfew has not been lifted. You know, the aftermath of the crisis is something else, because people could still be holding animosity, vengeance, and whatever. And so I think the security men, they should have these early warning signs, and they should be vigilant not to even allow anything to erupt before going there. It's better
Yeah.
they forestall any kind of upheavals. I think that's what I would tell them.
Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. Yes, Mazaju. Yes, Honorable Moody, do you have any idea as to the level of destruction in Mangu and environs overnight?
Hello?
Yes. Do you have
Can I-
idea? Yes. Do you have idea as
Hello?
to the level of destruction in Mangu and environs overnight?
Well, from the reports we got, unfortunately, as my co-discussant there, Mazadu said, the conflict has taken an ethno-religious dimension, which is very, very sad and unfortunate, seeing that the Mangu community used to be a one, regardless of ethnic or religious differences. From reports we got, so many, one acts of destruction, were carried out over the night. Places of worship, we had reports of some Islamic schools being burnt, mosques being burnt, so many of them, and including residential houses of people. But it also continued up till this morning. But as I said earlier, with the deployment of more troops on, the scene, the situation has been brought under control. We're hoping that the security will be alive to its responsibility in terms of at least maintaining neutrality in this kind of conflict. History has shown that in Plateau, other elements within the security services have often been used to, escalate the conflict through mishandling of the situation. Fortunately for us, we've had experiences whereby we can say the military and possibly the DSS, even they don't have enough force on ground as much as the military and police. These two institutions have been doing very well, much better than others. I must say it here. And I want to say that this time around, it behoves on all of them, whether the military or the police, to behave responsibly and to act responsibly, so that we will not allow this to escalate beyond control. It's unfortunate that people are trying to give our state, our dear Plateau, a bad identity, a twin identity of mayhem and destruction. We don't want these negative identities to be associated with the state. We want an end to these killings. And I want to say that besides the kinetic approach, which is what the security agencies are largely doing, enforcing the peace through use of force. Of course, obviously, it has to be like that. But we're also calling on other stakeholders, especially traditional rulers, leaders, and the political leadership in the state and local government areas, to rise up to the challenge that this crisis is posing or has posed to them as leaders. Rise up to the challenge, do whatever is necessary to ensure that these people are brought together as handled. This conflict is handled well, fairly, and then of course in a manner that will not lead to further polarization of the people and deepening the divisions that are already or have already been created in an otherwise friendly, homely family that we used to know the Mangu community to be. I want to appeal to them, whoever is responsible, as I said earlier, should rise up so that this thing is stopped. Other parts of Plateau, especially Jos and other, will be suffering from this issue of polarizations of all these communities. And we know the effect. We know that we have not yet recovered. We are not yet fully out of it. And we wouldn't want to see other communities going into it. Mangu is the largest commercial center in the central zone of Plateau State. It has a market that attracts people from all over the country on a weekly basis. It is a commercial center, very vibrant, very peaceful community. It is sad that that place is going down this way. It is very, very sad. Unfortunately. And I want to plead that the governor should please show example this time around. We don't want a situation whereby as it happened, during a regime that I don't want to mention, where people in position of authority were seen openly taking sides in conflict, especially when it affects their own people. This time around, we expect the governor to show leadership. He's the leader of all, he's the father of all. All are his own people, all belong to him. Let him show it, please.
Thank you. Yes. Honorable Masadu, many people are really trying to come to terms as to how security situation degenerated in, of all places, Mangu, where in a family you have both Muslims and Christians living harmoniously within the same compound. What do you think really happened that these people have been now instigated to take arms against each other?
Okay, I think there is a lot of leadership, especially at the community level, because signs had been there for quite a long time. For almost 4 or 5 months now, Mangu has been on the spot. Things have been happening in Mangu, even before what happened in Bokos, even last December. And I had, in one of these programs, said that Mangu is an area that is blessed with a rich reservoir of human resources, intellectuals, experienced administrators that that have served this country at various levels, nationally and internationally. All are there in Mangu. They are available, and they should come and put heads together and see that that area is salvaged, is rescued from the dungeon that some people are trying to push it into. One would expect that from the past 3 months or 4 months that this thing started, hands should be on deck to see that, of course, they bring all together from their own internal, dialogue mechanism, have a machinery for dialogue within the community, so that they don't have to go out and, they don't have to wait for people from outside to come and do things for them. We have teachers, when I was a student of conflict management in the university, some of my best teachers were from Mangu. They taught us conflict management at, postgraduate level, and we know them. We're happy that they are there. Unfortunately, I've not seen such resources being deployed to handle the local situation that is there. I expect that they should be there doing it. So, and I'm appealing to them. If they are listening, please let them deploy themselves. The rich resources that abound in Mangu, human resources, talents that are there, let them be deployed to ensure that the community goes into dialogue. In dialogue, you have to be relentless, it has to be intensive, it has to be wide, it has to be, deep, so that you cover all issues. That is what we did in our own dialogue in Jos, and that is what the Southern people did. In the Central Zone, we have no record of any dialogue taking place ever. All maybe right. Because they have this and they are now relaxed, thinking that nothing will happen. Now that something has happened, we expect them to do it, please.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Sani Modi. Before we come back to you, it's like there is actually a distraction around the room you are. Maybe you draw their attention before we come so that we will hear you better. Thank you. Yes, Honorable Mazadu, you heard what Honorable Sani Modi said. Yes, in respect to the breakage of relationship within families. Hello? You have in one house Muslims, Christians, doing things together. At what level do you think this relationship degenerated to the extent that, within the same house, people will take arms and start killing themselves?
I think if you look at the situation, it started when, during, politics. I mean, under democratic dispensation, I could remember during the Second Republic, during electioneering campaigns, religion was dragged into it. And the impression that the people have been given about the state, about politics, and this domineering spirit, coming from one religion or the other. You understand? I think for a very long time, it has been handed down to even this generation. So there is that fear of one religion being dominated and the other one trying to say, okay, this side is trying to take over the state, this side is trying to take over the state, instead of building and uniting the people and look at, the resourcefulness of the people. To a large extent, if you look at it, even during these 2023 elections, you had people, using religion. They preach in the mosques, they preach in the churches. You see them all over the social media. Okay, we are in this religion, so let's vote this religion. We're here in this religion, let's vote this religion. So people don't look at it as politics at the peripheral, but it goes down deep into their minds, and they create that animosity and that resentment. So a little trigger, which is not even worth plunging the community into crisis and bloodbath, you'll find it doing so. Why? Because that thing has been in the people for long, and it has been in their subconscious, and it has, overshadowed the act of, viewing, living together in unity and diversity, and then the benefits associated with that. You find out that today, even if it comes to employment, or it comes to most things that people will do, they've tried to find out your religion, your tribe, and whatever. And this is what is not supposed to be. So the politicians, again, as you know, during the January 15, 1966 coup, spoken by Kaduna Nzoegu, he said, our enemies are the political profiteers who like to keep the country permanently divided so that they can live in office as VIPs and ministers and so on. Now, if you look at it critically, most politicians discover that they find it easier to sell through with religious ideology, and they don't mind about the impact it will have on them. So many of them go to the extent of even telling lies, on things that are not even there, just to win the minds of the people. And it's rather unfortunate that this thing has eaten deep into Plateau. If you look at it, there is no place in Nigeria that this religious politics, is gaining ground and becoming so strong like Plateau. So that, but to me, from the research and other things that I've looked at, most of this clergy, the imams and the pastors, they bring religion into it in connivance with the politicians, because anytime they need something from the politicians, they will have easy access to them and get them. And that's why they enjoy that. And because in their mosques and their churches, they gather people, they try to brainwash them and make religion as a means of competition. They refuse to make their adherents see religion as a means of serving God to make eternity with God, which should be revealed through love for one another. But you find out that religion has become a means of competition today. This religion wants to beat this one and get this position. This one wants to beat this one and get this position. And eventually, it culminates into animosity, resentment, chauvinism, hatred, and whatever. So little trigger can bring it, can result to crisis.
Yes, thank you.
And I think to a large extent, the National Assembly must be up and doing and ensure that they take drastic action and ban the use of religion completely in politics. And anybody that does that should be sanctioned.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Moody, I don't know whether you have something to add on this, considering that elections are over, even litigations in court, as far as Plateau State is concerned, over. Now, why the resurgence? We had an incident in December, and now we're having another one. Is there another option to the triggers of what is currently happening, beside the politics issue? Yes, please kindly unmute your mic, Honorable. Yes.
Yes. I want to align myself with the position.
Unmute it again. Yes.
Unmute it. Are you with me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I said, are you on the same page with Mazadu?
Yes, I'm one with him on that issue of religion in politics in Plateau. He's deeply entrenched there, and there is nothing anybody can do about it for the time being. But I want to also say that it is the creation of the elite. What is most important is good governance. Once there is good governance, you address all these issues of divergences, all these issues of feelings, which are mostly perceptions. Whoever thinks some religions are trying to dominate, well, there is that feeling that, of course, some feel that they are the majority and they should be on top. But whether you are in the majority or not, the important thing is that give the minority what is due to it. Treat everybody fairly, equitably, and of course, things will be okay. It is important to highlight the fact that for a long time, this issue of religion has been with us in this state, in politics, in governance, and everything. And we've seen that whatever it is, when it comes to the actual thing out there in the field as a politician canvassing for votes, you go to every community, you go and seek for every community's vote, irrespective of faith, ethnic, or whatever differences that are there. And you find that issues are almost similar. All communities are in need of social amenities, are in need of economic development, are in need of peace, security, and so on. So the differences are very marginal, but then they are often highlighted much more than what they are. And it takes us to where we are today, this issue of conflict, often conflict because of perceptions and because of what people see the other as, rather than what actually they are. So I want to appeal to our leaders, especially those in politics and those on the religious side, to please handle the situation with the fear of God, knowing that even if you are a clergy, whether you are a clergy or a politician, the most important thing is that God has commanded you to be just and fair to all. God has commanded you to treat all human beings as equal, as one. When it comes to matters of faith, when you go to your place of worship, of course you are there as worshippers belonging to one faith. You are bound by the teachings of your faith. You do it there. When you come out as a human being, as a fellow Nigerian, a fellow citizen, of course you look at somebody for who he is, what can he offer, what is his value as a human being, and accord such value and respect to him. And by doing that, we'll all have peace. I will say that for the time being, it appears as if we are lacking true leaders in Plateau. Leaders that are yearning for peace, leaders that are truly concerned about Plateau, about its well-being, about its future. What are we bequeathing to the future generations? Is it just a history of killings over the years? We've had peace, of course, even if you can say it is not an absolute peace or a complete peace, but over the last 8 years, we've had some very relative positive peace on the Plateau. Now we are going back to almost a vicious cycle. We fear an escalation of this conflict. We fear because the reports that are going out are frightening, are quite alarming, and people are saying, "Where next? Who next?" Because within 24 hours, the massive destruction that took place around that area, from the stories we are getting, is very, very, very horrific. It's very horrific.
All right.
And what next? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Sani. Thank you, Honorable Mazadu. We'll go on a short break. Remain with us. We will be back shortly. Viewers, don't go away. We'll be back shortly. Yes. Welcome back. If you are just joining, you are watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow the conversation across our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and watch us live on YouTube. We'll be interfacing via Zoom from Jos. Honorable Shabul Mazadu is the CEO of the Beacon newspaper, and Honorable Sanu Moody, former Deputy Chairman, Jos North Local Government, and spokesperson of the Jama'atu Nasir Islam in Plateau State. Yes, I'm coming to you, Honorable Mazadu. Yes, Sanu Moody spoke about lack of true leadership on the Plateau. Could that be correct, that Plateau doesn't have leaders at present, and that is why crises are happening after crisis?
Hello, can you take the question again? Hello?
Yes, I'm with you, Mazadu, yes.
I said, can you repeat the question?
Yes, I said, before we went on break, Honorable Sani Moody believes that if Plateau has leadership, an unbiased umpire, crisis wouldn't have been happening. Do you have something to say on this?
Yeah, you see, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, said that the military can only provide 30% of the security and 70% lies with the chief executives. That means they have so much to do to curb insecurity. There are many reasons that prompt people into going to various crimes and being restless, being redundant, and being easy tools in the hands of men of the underworld who use them to perpetrate all forms of violence and all these things. To a large extent, if you look at the administration from 1999 to now, there have been, since 2001, when Plateau State witnessed the September 7 religious crisis in Jos, you find out that almost all the regimes, virtually all the governments we had since 1999 to now, in their regimes, we witnessed one crisis or the other. The truth is that what are those things that are making the youths to easily go into crisis? And when there's upheavals, hoodlums take advantage of that to break shops, to loot, to destroy properties, and take properties and steal things. Now, the truth is that there are things that keeps me wondering, like if communities are being attacked, when you go to those communities, you find out that there are no good roads, there are no, surveillance cameras, there are no drones in this modern technology in order to curb any form of attack or any form of criminality. You see, like in Plateau State, you hear the Fulani complain that there are cattle rustlers that they keep disturbing their cattle. And from time to time, you hear that some people from the communities do attack them. And the Fulani too, from time to time, you hear reports that they kill the members of the community. And they release the animals to destroy their crops on the farm. And little thing you find out that it will ignite into crisis. And if there was willpower on the side of the government and the determination and good governance, what they would have done is that they would have early warning signs to these things and then put machineries on ground that they can arrest people going for cattle rustling, and those that are going to render onslaughts on communities will be seen by using drones, by using surveillance cameras and good roads. But you find out that these governments now will come to the city, construct overhead bridges of 20, 30 billion naira, while there are no roads in the villages. The villagers are left, and most of the communities, the villages don't even have network. They didn't mount either ATM, mask or Glow or any of the networks for the communities. If there is any problem, they can call. But they relied on developing the city, while the city is already developed to a large extent. But what about the villages? What about those things that can forestall any form of attack, violence, and criminality? The government needs to investigate this thing seriously and put machineries on ground to get to the root. Are there truly cattle rustlers, or are there merely flimsy excuses to render onslaughts on communities? So, are the members of the communities attacking the Fulani? Are the Fulani going on reprisal, or what is the real problem? You see, these are things that the government is supposed to look into. A good government that knows its role as its major and constitutional role as providing peace and then welfare of the citizens, will take these things into cognizance and be very, very serious with them. And the issue of job creation, if the government had maintained peace and many investors came into the state to invest, you find out that so many of the youth will get jobs, and it will drastically reduce redundancy. And then at the same time again, some certain sectors like the tourism, which many countries are surviving on tourism. We call Plateau the home of peace and tourism. If the tourism sector has been boosted and fully developed, many youths will get jobs. And once somebody has said an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So when the youths are really engaged, and anytime they go out and they make profits and come back home, who would like to go into crisis? Because they will know what they will be losing. Okay, imagine being kept for 3 or 4 days, at home due to curfew. How much would one be losing? They realize, okay, this is the amount they will be losing, and their businesses may suffer a bit. Nobody would like to go into crisis. So we need good governance in the state. We need governance that can bring the people together and unite them.
Thank you.
As Reverend Jesse Jackson said, that governance has one hard thing to do.
Thank you.
To do than just take sides. It must bring sides together.
Thank you.
Make the people unite and to move with a common cause.
Thank you very much, Mazadu. Yes, Honorable Mudi, I want you to come in here.
Yeah.
Yes, many people are saying, going by the way the latest attacks were carried out and perfected, coming less than 1 month after the mass killings around Mangu, Riom, and Barikiladi. What is the role of non-state actors, for instance, the Operation Rainbow? Are they complicit in this?
Hello?
Yes,
Even though I didn't get your question fully, but I believe you are talking about the role of non-state actors.
Yes.
Is that so?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That is why when I said it seems there is no leadership, I want to say, let me emphasize on that and to also bring out the role of non-state actors. That includes community leaders, religious leaders, as well as other leaders in both the business and other undertakings.
I was actually asking, hello, Honorable Sani? Yes, the question I was actually asking was, some people are alleging that operatives of Operation Rainbow were complicit in the latest mayhem on the Plateau.
Hello?
Yes.
Please take it again.
There are allegations that operatives of Operation Rainbow were complicit in what happened in the last 2 nights on the Plateau.
Of course, we've received such allegations from people on ground there, people that are affected. They have said so many things about Operation Rainbow operatives. And I believe what we did, we told them that, look, report to the military on ground there. Tell them what you've been going through in the hands of Operation Rainbow. And I want to believe that, yes, Operation Rainbow is a highly localized security outfit. You cannot completely divorce them, from all these sentiments that you don't expect from people that are out there trying to quell, riot, trying to quench fire. Of course, when there is sentiment, we don't expect them to be so neutral. So we've had that complaints about Operation Rainbow, and we've told the people there to report such acts to the security authorities on ground, especially the military, the army. And they say, yes, they are more confident about or more comfortable with the army. And the army has assured them that it's taking control. And that is one of the unfortunate things about these local security outfits you have. Most of them are there just to serve local political interests. And, a lot of discretion, is not taken care of, is not taken into consideration when deploying them on ground. They should have been there in the first instance. It should have been the police. Then maybe if it's overwhelming that the police could not handle it adequately, then the military should follow. But for Operation Rainbow, actually it's an outfit that one cannot say exactly what they are there for. But since it is there, it is there. But it's not part of the formal security outfit that we can say, of course, are really out there to serve the people. They are only out to serve interests that we cannot really understand why. And it is sad that they have gone and created all these acts there, and it's good that the military have taken over.
All right. Honorable Mazadu, at the height of the crisis in December, we had reports that locals were calling on the federal government to withdraw the military from the red spots, around Mangu and Barikiladi. And then just last week on this station, Trust TV, we interviewed Governor Muftuang, who actually said that security operatives have been infiltrated by the fifth columnists. Now, in this situation, who do you think will restore peace on the plateau if there is mutual distrust among the people living there?
You see, let me say something first.
Go ahead.
This issue of infiltrating the military or so, if you look at it, there is something that I wish the National Assembly will take an action, though they are involved. You discover that in the 80s, in the 70s, when recruiting people into the Air Force, the Army, and the Navy, it was purely on merit. But you find out our politicians today have a lot of talks, a lot of boys moving with them, and when there are vacancies in the military, they bring their names and then they give them, and most of these boys are their talks. And you find out that the real legitimate process of recruiting, people into the army and into the military is no longer considered. So when people that are just too conscious of money, too conscious of anything, and then they are just enrolled into the military, what do you expect? You should expect compromise. Because for people to be recruited into the military, it calls for discipline. Such people must have clean record right from their hamlet to their town. But in terms of who will bring peace, I think to have peace on the plateau, it requires the involvement of the governor, the religious leaders, the political class, and the resolution of the people to live in peace. If the people are resolute to live in peace, peace can be achieved. You see, our religious leaders need to let the adherents see the true nature of God, that is love one for another, irrespective of tribe and religion. The religious leaders are supposed to fight vices in the state. They are supposed to talk against, intake of drugs, redundancy, and many things, because there are many things that contribute to this insecurity. There is the issue of drug abuse too. But you find out that when the religious leaders come to preach, they are talking about maybe in politics, they take side with this, they take side with that, they paint this side black, they paint that side black, they speak and they, provoke this side, they provoke that side. You find out they can never bring peace. And that unity should be even seen among the religious leaders. The major religions we have, Muslims and Christians and others, if their adherents see them moving together, cordially relating, living in love, living in peace, doing things together, it can influence them to follow suit. And then, if the society now will turn its attention on voting for candidates based on merit, not somebody that will come in the name of religion. When you come to contest for the election, they have to look at, are you forward-looking? Do you have any good antecedent? If they look at your disposition and your caliber, and if that has become the yardstick, you find out that people will move away from the aspect of using religion, which will contribute to animosity, and which will eventually
All right.
You see, the religious leaders have a role to play. The governors, again, they must be alive to their responsibility and the oath of office. They promise to treat everyone irrespective of where they come from.
Right.
So when one side is complaining bitterly, the government should listen to it keenly. If the other side is complaining bitterly, the government should listen to it keenly. And all the problems present before the government should have the willpower not to please anybody.
Okay. Thank you.
But to consider their oath of office.
All right.
And to execute what they are supposed to do.
All right.
And even the community should understand that we are already interwoven. You can never separate, have a local government or a state where there are Muslims on one side completely, there are Christians on one side. And most of the families on the plateau, are mixed. They have Muslims, they have Christians. So if we will come together and discover that, okay, all the good things of life Christians need, all the good things of life the Muslim needs, and who are those that can provide those things for us, then we start looking for human resources that can do that irrespective of religion and tribe. And then when we start doing this, and then our lives have started getting better, within the shortest time, nobody will start talking about fighting here and there. Because everybody will be engaged with their business and their businesses will be bringing income for them. And you find out that we trade together.
Thank you very much.
See that the issue of religion, we must believe that Muslims will not judge Christians on the last day. Christians will not judge Muslims on the last day. The judgment of religion solely lies with God, and it is God's business. But our business that He places us on earth to do is to have love for one another and make the place better. So our religious leaders must be up and doing, preaching love and exhibiting that love, and must stop preaching religiosity when it comes to elections, and our leaders must stop practicing ethnicity when it comes to campaign.
Thank you very much.
They should stop saying, oh, we are the majority, we are the minority, we are this, we are that. but let them preach unity.
Thank you. Thank you, Mazadu. Yes, quickly, Sani Mudi, we are rounding up. I have just less than 2 minutes for you to actually comment on all the peace committees on the plateau. Have they been abandoned? What went wrong at what time? And this should be said in less than 2 minutes, please. Yes.
Is it me?
Yes, Honorable Moody. Honorable Moody.
Okay. The report of the peace committees on Plateau, of course, when you look at it, we've have long left that trajectory of working along the line of reports of commission inquiry and so on. And that is based on experience. And experience has shown that dialogue, direct dialogue with mediators, neutral mediators, is much more effective and result yielding than what has worked for the zone, where we work for the southern territorial zone. And I
hello, I'm with you. Yes, go ahead.
Work for, because that is one area where since the conflicts in Plateau in 2001, maybe that they feel there should be dialogue on the Plateau, especially in the. And let me just round up. Should behave or fall in the state.
All right.
Infiltration of.
It's like the connectivity is in our favor towards the end of the program. Honorable Sani Mudi, we thank you because the network from your own end is actually not bad. I mean, very bad. Yes, Mazadul, in 1 minute, what do you think government should do with those, committees, reports from various committees put together by eminent personalities from within Plateau and without? Yes, in less than 1 minute, please.
I think they should just look into them and then implement them if they know they can truly bring peace in the state. It is of no use setting up committees and then getting their feedback after spending a lot of money on them. At the end of the day, then the reports are dumped. I think posts should be dusted, and then the government should be able to be honest and open to all the citizens of the state and must have the willpower to deal decisively with whoever is an enemy of peace in the state, irrespective of who they are. There should be no soft spot for any criminal.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Shabul Mazadu, the CEO of the Beacon newspaper, for coming to the program and for your informed perspective on the major issues at stake. We hope to have you some other time.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Sani Mudi, spokesperson, Jamaatul Nasrul Islam, former Deputy Chairman, Johnson Local Government Area. Thank you very much for your informed perspective, and we hope governments at all levels will take into consideration your humble recommendations. We hope to have you some other time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, and viewers, that's a wrap on today's package. We sincerely hope you found the conversation engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics airing live every weekday on our special package on Friday, during which we open our telephone line for you to comment on national issues. For now, may the Almighty bring peace back to Plateau and Nigeria at large. Bye-bye. I'm Hamza Idris.